This conference will now be recorded.
So please change the date.
Today is okay 25. All right. So let's talk about house bank configuration steps. When we talk about house bank configuration steps, we need to understand one point here. Point number one. So note, bank accounts can be created in two ways in SAP S4HANA 2020 onwards. Okay, as we are practicing in 2022 version, so our version is after 2020, which means from 2020 version onwards, the way you create bank accounts is different. So we have two different ways to create house bank GL accounts. Point number one. Now, if I open FS00 here, (9PBI). Point number one, GL account type as balance sheet account. So first point, GL account type as balance sheet account. This is nothing but your account type as X. Second one is the cash account. Second one is cash account. I'll put second one. GL account type as cash account. So these are the two ways that you have to create bank GL accounts in S4HANA system from 2020 onwards. Now currently the method that we are going to adopt is the traditional method or the previous method that we have been using from ECC, which is still applicable, still valid even in your S4HANA 2022 version. Now I'll put, so we are assuming or we are considering balance sheet account type for bank accounts. Okay, this is our requirement. We are considering balance sheet account for bank accounts. Accordingly, let us do the configuration. Once we understand this process thoroughly, until bank reconciliation statement, then we will be talking about cash account. Because before we understand what is cash account, why we are creating like this, it is very important that we understand what is the traditional way of house bank creation, GL account creation. Later on, it's easy to understand. Without having a clarity on balance sheet account methodology of bank GL creation, it is not possible to understand the logic behind the cash account. So this we will be understanding once we are thorough with balance sheet account methodology for bank account until your automatic payment program execution plus your bank reconciliation statement execution. After that, we will add additional bank account. We will perform the similar settings to practically see the differences. Now, what we will do is we will try to understand what needs to be done. I think in the previous class, we've created bank GL account. So let us list out the configuration steps here. So first one, what we need to do is, first one, identify the bank account which needs to be set up in SAP. First, we need to identify the bank account which needs to be set up in SAP, which means whether you are setting up a bank related to HDFC, Citibank, Bank of America, whatever the bank that you are planning to set up in your system, make sure you identify the bank first. After that, pick the bank key of the bank. In short, either IFSC or Swift code. Either IFSC or Swift code of your respective bank. This code you need to identify. After that, we need to ensure that bank master creation. So this will be created in FI01 transaction. Next one, we need to create bank master in FI01. After creation of bank master, we need to create bank GL accounts. In FS00. Point number 5, after creation of bank GL account, we need to create house bank. This we normally use F512. There is another T code for it which will take you to the same screen that we will list out. After house bank creation, next step we need to create house bank account. For this there is no T code. Manage bank accounts, Fiori app. We need to use manage bank account Fiori app. And that's it. After this, we need to ensure assign house bank and account ID in bank GL masters. So this is again FS00. In short, these are the sequential order that we need to follow to create any house bank in SAP S4HANA system. First point, let us assume that we are identifying the bank. I would say that we are identifying HDFC Bank, because this is what we did in the last session. We will be creating HDFC Bank, or let me check if you have already configured house bank in the last session. FI12, our company code 9PBI, house bank. Okay, this is not yet created. We only created the GL account. So here I'll put HDFC Bank.
We created, but not in our company code, sir. 003.
Yeah, correct. Right. So I am assuming that we will be creating a HDFC Bank. So first point that we need to understand, identify the bank which needs to be set up. Just like that, we should not create house bank. Even when you're practicing, always go in the sequential order. First identify which bank you are going to create. Let's say I am going to create HDFC Bank. Now for this HDFC Bank, I need to identify what is the bank key. In short, either IFSC code or Swift code. In short, bank identification code. This can be termed as IFSC in India. This can also be termed as Swift code in US, and some other names in different countries. But for every bank, remember, you will have one unique identification code. This unique identification code is nothing but bank key in SAP. We need to make sure this particular bank key, is it already available in SAP or not. Before you do it, you need to make sure you need to list out the bank key. For example, what I'll do, I will take HDFC 228865. Some random number I'm taking. I'm just taking sample numbers here. But when you're creating, you can Google that bank information on the Google. You will get the total details, address, IFSC code, everything you will get related to the particular bank of a respective branch. Pick those information, create exactly the same according to your requirement. But here I'm not creating any specific one. I am taking the random numbers. This is the bank key which I am taking. Next one, I need to ensure bank master creation. Now here to create the bank master, I need to identify. So here let me put, this is your country and bank key combination. Bank master creation is nothing but the combination of your country code plus bank key combination. In this example, our country which I am going to configure is India. Country code for India is IN, and the bank key that I have listed is HDFC 228865. With the combination of country and a bank key, I am going to create bank master. So once bank master is available or it is created, we need to ensure GL accounts are created. We already understood according to this logic, according to balance sheet account type for bank account, we need to ensure that for every bank we are going to allocate 10 GL accounts 0 to 9, and depending on the nature of payments, mode of payments, you are going to decide whether one outgoing is required or multiple outgoings incomings are required. But we need to make sure 10 GL account numbers are locked or allotted for every bank that you are going to create. Now accordingly, we need to make sure bank GL accounts are created. We have already created the GL account. Let me go to SAP. What we did was we created HDFC main account. We created HDFC outgoing account, because according to our previous session requirement, we were assuming ending with 1 was used for check incoming, ending with 2 will be used for check outgoing. Accordingly, we created GL account ending with 2 for outgoing account. The GL sequence that we allotted was 13101000 for main account, 13101002 for check outgoing account. Now let me take this GL account number here, main account. The moment I take main GL account here, it is automatically understood that this is the sequence. Last digit ending with 0 is main, ending with 1 is check incoming, ending with 2 is check outgoing, ending with 3 is transfer incoming, ending with 4 is transfer outgoing. This is the fixed logic that is decided at the beginning of the project and will be followed strictly for all the company codes for all the countries of your particular client. Irrespective of the country, irrespective of the company code, the logic is standard for all your legal entities. This is what I have taken. Next one, we need to make sure house bank is created. Normally, to create the house bank, we need to gather the information related to bank. How do we gather the information related to the bank? We will be providing the house bank master template with the client. They will be filling up the data, sharing it back with us. You will verify once again, and then you will be creating the master in SAP system. So here, data collected through master data file. When we talk about master data file, since we're talking about house bank master data file will be created. House bank account ID also same, data collected through master data file. And finally, when we talk about assignment of house bank and account ID in the GL master, this is only for the reporting requirement. All right, so this is, I'm not writing anything here because this is something that we need to do as a consultant. Now let us start configuring this in the system. First one, we are assuming we identify the bank HDFC. Second stage, we need to pick the bank key of the bank, which we assumed as HDFC 228865. Third one, from here your configuration or your actual creation process begins in SAP. First thing is always bank master creation. To create the bank master, transaction code is FI01. Let me open FI01. Here let me type FI01. Here if I put FI01, system is asking me to create a bank. This create a bank is nothing but bank master data. This is one of your cutover activity in any of your implementation project. Whenever you work on any implementation project, any rollout project, this is the prerequisite. Without bank master, you are not supposed to create house bank. Now, how do you create bank master? With the combination of country plus bank key. Country that we are assuming is IN, India. Second one is your bank key. Bank key that I am assuming is this one, HDFC 228865. Copy this, go back to SAP. I'll put this here. I'll put this bank key. Let me press enter. When I press enter, if system is allowing you to create, this represents this bank key is currently not available in the system. If it is already available, you will get an error message. An entry already exists with this particular bank key, meaning somebody has already created or this bank key is already set up in the system. Now, when you are inside the bank key creation, if you notice what information we are updating here, it is nothing but the name and address of the bank. It is nothing but name and address of the bank. Tomorrow, when somebody is asking you what is your bank key or what is your bank master, it is nothing but name and address of the bank. It is nothing but name and address of the bank where your accounts are operated. If I am talking about HDFC Bank, if I'm talking about HDFC Bank, there may be a lot of HDFC banks. When I say there may be a lot of HDFC Bank, every HDFC Bank is identified separately based on the IFSC code. Every HDFC Bank is identified based on the IFSC code. Similarly, any bank that you take will be having different branches. Every branch has got a different code. In short, the different identification code. This branch identification code is what we represent as bank key according to SAP. Now, according to country, in India, this may be called as IFSC code. In US, this may be called as a SWIFT code. Likewise, there may be different names based on the country, but according to SAP, it is neither IFSC code nor the other code. You need to ensure it is your bank key. Put the bank key and select the region. If you open the drop down, region is nothing but states within the country that you are selecting. Assuming that I will select any one, this one, let's say I'll select Maharashtra. Street. Now this is supposed to be exactly the same address of your bank. Why you need to make sure this is exactly the same address of the bank? Reason being, tomorrow whenever you process any bank related transaction, assuming you are processing a payment from your bank or you are receiving payment into your bank. So sometimes what you will be doing, you will be generating payment advices, you will be providing transfer letters, you will be generating a lot of certificates, or you will be printing different confirmation letters from the bank, which will be sent to your customer, which will be sent to your bank later on, or they will be submitted in the bank for the payment process. When you're submitting like this to the payment related stuff into the bank, especially bank will validate whether the name and address is correct or not, because all these things will be printed later on the forms that you are going to generate for bank related transaction, especially for payment transactions and for receipt related transaction. If you put incorrect address, you will end up printing wrong address on the bank letters. You will end up printing wrong address on the bank letter. That is the reason you need to ensure the address, city, branch is properly updated. Tomorrow, when you're getting this information, you need to ensure your client provides the right information. You need to ensure your client is providing the right information, because you have already shared the house bank master template. In the master template, they have to input this field. What is the name of the bank, address, street, city, branch, everything must be given. Let's say street, I'm just writing Bank Street. City, I'll put Mumbai. Branch, I'll say Mumbai main branch. I'll put Mumbai main branch. Now Swift code, if it is applicable, you can put. If not, these things are applicable only for the selected countries. These are not mandatory, applicable only for the selected countries and selected payment modes. Now bank key will be usually used as bank number. Normally we will be using bank key as bank number. Press enter. This is how you will be creating bank master first. Now when I click on create this, system is not giving me any TR number. System did not generate any TR number. As we already discussed, creation of a bank master is one of your open client activity, or it is one of your cutover activity which you need to perform directly in the production system. Tomorrow when you're in any project, this is to be directly created in production system, not to be configured. You're not going to configure this. Next one, if I wanted to display this bank key, I'll go to the bank on the top. If I click on display from this drop down, I am able to display this. If I put this information, I am able to see data like this. The moment I put country and a bank key, system is giving me bank name and bank address. Now remember this screen. Remember this screen, when we are configuring house bank, we will be recollecting this screen. When we are creating the house bank, we will be recollecting this screen. Next one, bank master is now created. Next thing is to create a bank GL account. Whenever we are talking about bank GL master creation, we should always remember you are going to use a logic for bank account creation. The logic is always 0 to 9. When we talk about logic is always 0 to 9, every bank account should have 10 GL accounts dedicated to the bank, starting from 0, ending with 9. Starting from 0, ending with 9. Now starting from 0 always represents bank main account, ending with 1 to 9 will always represent bank sub account. For every house bank you have main account sub account concept. This main sub account concept is exclusively used for bank reconciliation purpose. In order to perform BRS properly in the SAP system, we need to make sure bank main GL account is created strictly ending with 0, bank main account is created strictly ending with 0, and bank sub accounts are allotted from ending with 1 until ending with 9. Based on the different purposes, you can create the respective ending account based on a logic. For example, if I talk about GL account ending with 1 is always representing a check incoming. For any of my company codes, for any of my bank, whenever I'm talking about check incoming account, my GL account will always end with 1. Similarly, if I talk about check outgoing transaction, for any of my company code, for any of my bank, my check outgoing GL account will always end with 2. My check outgoing GL account will always end with 2. We need to ensure these points are properly understood. These points are properly created in every project. If you do not create in this way, we will be facing lot of difficulties in the bank reconciliation process. We will be facing lot of difficulties in BRS for understanding the bank reconciliation statement or BRS concept either in SAP or in any organization. First point, you need to ensure your bank GL accounts are created properly. If bank masters are created properly, your BRS is smooth, your BRS can be configured, your BRS can be executed without any issues. If bank master, bank GLs are created incorrectly, you will find lot of difficulties, you will face lot of challenges, issues during your BRS process. Right? In any organization, this is the primary point to create bank master, bank GL accounts thoroughly. We will freeze a logic. When we say we will freeze a logic, this is how you need to create the GL account master, bank master. Make sure these are the parameters sequence you are going to follow. Just like that, we should not create it. Now, when it comes to bank master data, we have already created master data. Let me show the GL once again. In the GL master, what we did, we took this GL account, which we created as HDFC star 256 main. Why did we take star 256? We just took to identify that this GL account is related to our actual bank account ending with 256. We gave like this only to identify. By looking at the GL account number, I understand this GL account is related to which bank account. Every company will have lot of bank accounts. On an average, 10 bank accounts every company will use. We say on an average, every bank will use 10 GL account. Nobody will remember which bank GL account is representing which actual bank account. Unless and until you memorize or unless and until you write somewhere, Nobody will remember it. So in short, what majoritarily we will adopt is, in the bank GL description, you will put the last digits of the bank account number, something like this, 256 likewise. So that by looking at the GL account number, you will come to know, okay, this is related to 256 account. Now you understand as a treasury person, or you understand as a banking team, okay, my 256 account is related to GL account 1310 1000. Accordingly, they will understand which GL account number to be used for what purpose. This is first point. Another point you need to understand here is, we are creating bank GL accounts under balance sheet account as of now. As of now, we are creating under balance sheet account, which is the traditional method of bank accounting creation. The same traditional method is applicable even in S4HANA system. One point that we need to understand, either you have to follow balance sheet account for bank account or cash account, only one. You cannot mix and then create the things, because this method, whatever you're adopting, either cash account or balance sheet account, will have direct impact on your automatic payment program plus bank reconciliation statement. Either you need to go with cash account policy method, or you need to go with the balance sheet method. As we understood, this is a direct connection with automatic payment program plus bank reconciliation program. So it is purely depending on the business requirement, client requirement, but majority clients will be using balance sheet account only. Some clients nowadays, they are starting to use cash account. Nowadays, clients are also starting to use cash account, because if you are using balance sheet account, you are going to create a lot of GL accounts. If you're creating balance sheet account, you will be creating a lot of GL account for every bank. As we discussed, every bank will have to be allotted with 10 GL account. On the other side, when you're creating a cash account, you will be creating a common GL account. When I say common GL account, one GL account set can be used for multiple bank accounts. One GL account set can be used for multiple bank accounts if I am using a cash account. If you use cash account, your banking will become reconciliation account. If you use cash account, your banking will become reconciliation account. It will be exactly same like your customer account, vendor account. The way you have customer, the way you have your vendor, in the similar way you have your bank account. The way customer, the way vendor, in the similar way your bank account. Your customer account, your vendor account are identified based on the reconciliation account. Similarly, your bank accounts are identified based on the bank reconciliation accounts. So this we will understand in detail once we are clear with the traditional method of bank accounting functionality. After this, if I go to control data, 2 points that you need to remember here. Always remember, whenever you are creating any bank main GL account, your bank main GL account is a strictly non-open item GL account. When I say non-open item GL account, by mistakenly also you should not enable this. This tick is strictly not relevant for bank main account. This is not at all relevant for your bank main account. By any chance, if you are enabling open item management for bank main account, that is a mistake. By any chance, if you are enabling open item management for bank main account, that's a mistake. Second point, this open item management is mandatory for all your sub account. When I say all your bank sub account, like all your incoming GL account, all your outgoing GL account, you must enable open item management. This is to ensure to do the proper reconciliation of your BRS with banking and your accounting. To do the proper reconciliation between your accounting and banking, you have to enable open item management in the bank sub account. If you process any transaction from your side, you will be recording in bank sub account as open item. The moment you see the transaction in the bank statement, you will be moving the transaction from bank sub account to bank main account. This movement from sub account to main account is possible only when you create your sub account as main account. Only when you create your bank sub account as main account, movement from sub account to main account is possible by way of your open item management in the bank sub account. This is another point. Next one, when you go to create a bank interest, here we need to ensure field status group is assigned. you need to ensure field status group will be G005. Let me change this. G005, which is your bank account obligatory value date. Bank account obligatory value date. In short, any transaction that you process into a bank GL account, value date becomes mandatory. Value date becomes mandatory. When we talk about value date, you are talking about the date on which payment is effective. On which your payment is effective on your banking, that is what is your value date. For every bank related transaction, value date becomes mandatory. Next one, relevant to cash flow checkbox. For all your bank related GL account, make sure you will enable this relevant to cash flow checkbox. After that, the assignment of house bank and account ID needs to be assigned in your bank GL account after we set up house bank and account ID configuration. While creating the GL account, we do not know what is the house bank, what is the account ID, but after completing your house bank account ID creation, we have to come back to the GL master, make sure house bank account ID is updated here. These points we need to make sure. Enter, this is your main account. If I go to sub account, which is my check outgoing account, here also we need to make sure field status group will be G005, which is bank account. And then relevant to cash flow must be enabled. Once house bank account ID is created, we need to update house bank account ID here. In control data, as this is a sub account, we need to ensure open item management is enabled. Open item management is enabled. And if you go to type description, as we are currently adopting balance sheet account concept for bank account, any bank GL account that you create should be strictly created under balance sheet account. Either you should proceed with balance sheet or with cash account, only one method, not two. Right? Currently we are proceeding with balance sheet. Two GL accounts are already created. Next point, what we will do is, now bank master is created. Now straight away I will not do any configuration. I will try to use the bank GL. I'll try to use bank GL account directly for my transaction posting. Before that, if I go to vendor line item report, which is FBL1N, if I go to FBL1N vendor line item report, I will give our company code. Let me click on execute to see if we have processed any vendor open invoices. Currently, there are no vendor open invoices. In order to process the payment, we need to make sure one invoice is available for the vendor account. Let me create one vendor invoice first. F-43. I'll create with today's date. Invoice. Vendor account. Let's say I'll take some 30,000. Invoice 1. Debit. I'll take any one expense account. Same amount. I will assign profit center and a text. Let me post this entry. I'm not showing simulate and all because we already understood what is this process and all. Straight away I'll go to vendor line item report. On the vendor line item report, if I try to execute this, now I'm able to see an outstanding of 30,000 in my vendor account. There is an outstanding of 30,000 in the vendor account. Let us try to process the payment for this 30,000 using our HDFC bank account. To process the vendor payment, transaction code is F-53. To process the vendor payment, T code is F-53. This is simple normal payment transaction for a vendor without printout. Without printout, I mean to say, you're not going to generate any check. You're not going to generate any transfer letter to the vendor. That is nothing but your normal payment for vendor. Here, let me put the date. Reference, I'll put payment 1. document header text also payment 1, clearing text also payment 1. After this, down below you will be able to see there is something called bank data. Here system is asking house bank and then this is your account ID. If I open the drop down, if I pick our company code, if I press enter, currently there are no house banks created in our company code. Okay, when there is no house bank, there will be no account ID because account ID is created based on the house bank only. Currently there is no house bank, there is no account ID. I will come to account and here let me try to assign our GL account which we created. This is the GL account that we have created. Check outgoing account and I will put this here. I'll press enter. If I put this here, if I press enter, what system is doing is it is telling an entry is required in value date for this GL account. So what errors you are getting, slowly we need to understand. It is giving the error message value date is required. This value date error is coming from your field status group of the GL account master data. There we assigned G005 value date is mandatory. You need to update when are you releasing the payment. We are releasing the payment today. We need to make sure today's date is updated as value date 25. I'll press enter. When I put enter, it is asking amount. I'll put 30,000 as amount. Enter. Enter. Okay. So after giving the amount, but I'll come back once again to show you again. Payment, account, amount, value date. After giving this information, you will find a field called profit center here. There is a field called profit center. Remember, currently I'm not giving any value. I'm not giving anything in profit center here. I'm not giving anything in profit center field. Text I'll put payment 1. After that, open item selection for vendor. We know our vendor account is 5,000, 4,000. Remember, I'm not giving any profit center here. We also understand without profit center, accounting entry is not possible. Without profit center, accounting entry is not possible. For GL account, I did not give any profit center. Let me click on process open item. If I click on process open item, system is giving one outstanding invoice, which is your 30,000. That is currently already assigned. We have ensured amount entered, amount assigned is equally matching because this outstanding invoice of 30,000 is already assigned. And this will give you the outstanding days. This will give you outstanding days. If it is 0, it is due today. If it is 0, it is due today. And similarly, it will show negative days, positive days according to not due, overdue. Now let me come to document. I'll click on simulate here. This is our normal entry view simulation. Let me go to document, general ledger simulation. If I go to document and then do the general ledger simulation, you are able to see profit center is automatically derived. You are able to see profit center is automatically derived. Now, how did system bring this profit center? In this accounting entry, we need to understand point number 1, how we are processing the payment. Point number 2, your payment is a clearing entry. Point number 3, during your payment, system will perform document splitting passive method. When we say document splitting passive method, we are talking about passive document splitting. System has brought this profit center based on the passive document splitting methodology. How do you understand that this is passive document splitting? If you go top and click on expert mode here. If you click on expert mode, let me refresh this. Okay, on the expert mode, you can see this. There is nothing called base line item here. There is nothing called base row, base line item. In the previous sessions, we have understood whenever you put profit center manually, system will show that as base row or base line item. Now here, none of the line item has got base row. Everything has got a expansion or a drop down here. When you find a expansion drop down here, which means this line item has been updated the profit center based on a logic. Now open this. If I open the first line item, you will see first line item is bank GL account 1310 Now this GL account is updated based on baseline 002. This is your line 001. This is your line 002. Line 001 is receiving a profit center from line 002. Now line 002 is receiving a profit center inheritance via clearing. If I open this drop down, you will find 9PBI, which is your company code, 19 all zeros 1, which is your invoice, 2023 your fiscal year, 001 is your line item number. If we see the vendor line item report, 19 all zeros 1 is your vendor invoice. 19 all zeros 1 is your vendor invoice. In short, during the payment transaction, system is taking the profit center from vendor invoice to vendor account. This vendor account is automatically coming to the payment transaction along with the profit center. That is why invoice reference is updated here. From this invoice, profit center updated in the payment transaction. From the vendor line item in the payment, system is updating profit center to the bank GL account. This is called your passive document splitting. Tomorrow when somebody is asking you example for document splitting, this is something that you need to talk. When you're talking about passive document splitting, explain how profit centers are derived here. Okay, this is how your profit center is coming. In short, during the payment process, point number 1, you need to understand a bank account. When you're talking about bank account, two ways of bank account creation. Now, so far, we have not created any house bank. So far, we have not created any house bank. I'll click on continue. And if I go to expert mode again, let me check if there are any errors or my entry is fine. If you look at the messages section here, in the message section, there is nothing. It is completely blank, which means this entry is good to go. When I say this entry is good to go, when you click on post, entry will be posted without any error. When you click on post, entry will be posted without any error. Now, point number 1, without house bank creation, you are strictly not supposed to process any GL transaction related to bank. Without house bank creation, strictly no accounting entries are allowed in bank GL account, no matter what. This is one point that you need to understand. System is allowing you to create the manual payment even though there is no house bank creation. Now, why system is allowing you to create? Because you have created bank GL account under traditional method balance sheet account. Now, this is not the correct way of payment processing. I will not be processing this payment because without house bank account ID, I am not supposed to process this. Now, another point you need to remember here is if you are processing manual payment, if you are not using a cash accounting concept, you can straight away ignore house bank account ID. You can straight away ignore house bank and account ID. These fields are applicable, relevant only if you are following a cash accounting. Only if you are following a cash accounting, you need to update house bank account ID, without which your entries are not allowed. If you are creating bank GL account as cash account, house bank and account ID becomes mandatory by default. Wherever you are using a bank GL account, house bank account ID becomes mandatory. Okay, if you are using balance sheet methodology, straight away you can ignore this because they are not relevant. Now, next point, what we need to do is, we understood manual payment processing. You are not supposed to use bank GL account without house bank. Now, let us try to create house bank. To create a house bank, first thing, if you see the IMG path, if you see the configuration path, now I will come to accounting here. I'm not on the SPRO path, I am on the easy access. If I go to financial accounting, I'll go to bank. Inside the bank, if I have master data, and here I have first one FI01, which is your bank master. This is what we have currently created. Next one, if I come down, house bank and bank account. First one, what you have is FI12 underscore H bank, manage house bank. Let me double click on this. If I double click on this, it is asking me to input the company code. Let me input the company code. Enter. So this is giving logged data. Those who is using this, please come out. Now here there is no information related to this. I will come back. So this is the screen FI12 underscore H bank. Come back. You find another screen called FI12 also. If I select FI12, enter. If I select FI12, it is the same screen. It is the same screen, but it is giving me all the company codes. FI12 is displaying all the company codes, whereas if I go to FI12 underscore H bank, it is directly asking me to select company code, and it is displaying data only for that particular company code. Okay, now what I'll do, let me close the session of this AJ60. Delete. So I will come to FI12 underscore H bank. I'll open this. It's asking for company code. Let me give company code. And here it says change view house bank. Let me click on new entries. If I add a new entry, it is asking me to give house bank. Now house bank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-digit is the house bank, but majoritarily we will not create a 5-digit house bank. We will create only 4-digit house bank. Even in your project, you will be creating 4-digit house bank only. How you will be creating it is up to your choice. Either you can go purely with numbering convention, in short, numeric, let's say 1000, 1001, 1002 like this, or based on the bank you can put any identification. If it is HDFC, you can put HDFC, or if it is HDFC, you can put HD, BK, BN, anything you can put, but it has to be 4-digit. So what I'll put, since I'm creating for HDFC, let me put HDFC. Next one, you need to give bank country. So this bank is currently in India. I'll put India code. After that, you need to provide bank key. Bank key is something that you have already created even before you are on the house bank creation screen. This is your bank key. I'll give this bank key, copy it, paste it here. I'll press enter. After giving bank key, if I click on, now if you see this create option is disabled. This create option is disabled here because this bank key is already existing. Create option is disabled because bank key is already existing. I'll change from 5 to M. Enter. If I change from 5 to M, this create option is available, change option is disabled. If you are able to see create option, bank master is not created. If you are able to see create option, bank master FI01 is not created. Always remember, FI01 is the first step that we need to execute before you come to FI12 or house bank creation. Now I'll put 5 here. When I put 5, system is directly asking me to go to change mode. If I go to change mode, if you see this screen, this is exactly the same screen which we used on FI01. On FI01, whatever we did, it is exactly the same screen. If I just put some dummy number, the same screen, you are able to see it here on the pop-up. Okay, from there system is picking or system is extracting the data here. Continue. Even if you go to address here, address is automatically updating here. Whenever you print any letter from your bank, system is going to take this address for the printing. HDFC Bank, Region 13, Bank Street, Mumbai City and Mumbai Main Branch. This information will be extracted from this screen whenever you create or whenever you generate any letters or whenever you want to find out extract address of your bank. Once this information is given, in short, in house bank you are only providing house bank identification. Though it is 5 digit, we are taking 4 digits. Country code, based on the country you need to put the 2-digit country code. Bank key, which is mandatory. Remember, before we come to here, we should have already configured bank key. Click on save. When you click on save, it is asking you to select a TR. I'll go to own request. If I go to own request, there is nothing in the own request. If I go to own request, there is nothing in the own request. If I close this, on the top you can see prompt for workbench request. On the top you can see this is prompt for workbench request, but I am not saving it here. I'll close this. How did I come here? FI12_HBank. I'm not saving this. Cancel. Do you want to save? No, I don't want to save. FI12_HBank was giving us workbench request. Let me go to FI12 only. If I go to FI12, I'll go to position. I'll pick our company code here, 9PBI. Double click on house bank. Since we did not save there, nothing is available here. Add a new entry. Same information, HDFC, same country, same bank key. Same thing, because it is the same screen, the transaction that we were using was different there and here. Now let me try to click on save here. If I try to click on save here, what system is doing? System is giving me a customizing request here. If I come from FI12, it's a customizing request. If I come from FI12_HBank, it's a workbench request. So either ways you can do the configuration. There is no rule that you have to configure only with this transaction code. But if you come through FI12_HBank, you can only create house bank. Or you can only see the house bank. If you wanted to see the house bank plus bank account, you have to use FI12 transaction. Let me save this here. I am saving this here. Now this is only the bank information, but we have not yet provided what is the bank account number that we are operating in this particular bank. To create the bank account, you have to click on bank account. Double click on bank account. You will get a message read access, because bank accounts in S4HANA are created in Fiori application. Enter. If I click on enter, there is nothing here. On top, but I am able to see one icon called create a bank account. Let me click on this create a bank account. I'll close this. More information. Scroll down. Go on to the page. It is giving a message called no ticket was received during the header. This is because system is trying to access NetWeaver Business Client or NWBC screen. System is trying to access NWBC screen. Now the way you create account ID is different. The way we create account ID until 1909 version is based on NetWeaver Business Client, in short NWBC. It is trying to access NWBC screen. It is telling internal server error because from 2020 onwards NWBC is not allowed. You need to create house bank account in Fiori application. So that is why this icon is not relevant for your 2020 onwards. As we are in 2022 version, you cannot create the account ID using this. You can use this icon until 1909 version. Now, our intention is to create the bank account. To create the bank account, you need to open Fiori. Let me go to Fiori. I'll go to my browser. Let me open 2022 Fiori. So here I will log in. Okay, here let me find out manage bank account. I'll click on search.
Sorry
Next
to
time
interrupt
when
you.
you, yeah,
So why do we have multiple T codes for creation of house bank, sir? Is there any specific reason?
no, it's clear here, right? One T code will take you only to the house bank. The other T code will take you to house bank plus account ID both. If you go to fi12 underscore h bank, you can only create house bank. You cannot see what is the account ID there. You will be using
Okay, sir.
fi12 underscore h bank because account ID is no more a configuration in HANA, correct?
Yes, sir.
Account ID is a master data. That is why we will be using fi12 underscore h bank to create house bank directly. If you use fi12 straight away, you can access house bank plus account ID both there.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. It's a little slow. Let me see if I'm able to open the other tiles. This is working fine. This is working fast only. I just need to. It's taking a little time to search. Let me search here. Once we are able to open this screen, next time what we need to do is we need to bookmark that screen, that tile, so that straight away you can access it. Let me put, I'll search with a bank account here and here. Yeah, here it is opened. Now the tile that we need to use for creation of bank account or house bank account is manage bank accounts. This style we need to use. Click on this manage bank accounts. Okay, so this screen, even when you are working on your laptop, make sure you bookmark this. I will bookmark this like manage bank account. Click on done. Now next time when you go here, where is it? Bookmark. Manage house bank. I can directly pick this from here. Okay, it will directly get loaded. I'm not opening it there now. Here on bank account, down you will find an icon called create here. Exactly at the bottom on the bank account, you will find an icon called create. You have an icon called create. Click on create icon here. When you click on create icon, you will get a pop-up. Okay, on the pop-up, system is asking what is your company code. Our company code is 9PBI. Put your company code. Next one, it is asking account type. Account type, we will be using a current account, which is 01. Always it's 01 only, current account, because companies, whatever the account that they operate, that they hold, is called as current account. Click on create. After giving company code, account type as current account 01, click on create. When you click on create, it will load and it will give further information. On this screen, you need to provide account description. Account description, what I am going to provide is, I will provide like this. HDFC current account 256. I'll put INR. This is how I'm going to create. In short, the description will give you some information about the account ending digits plus the currency in which you are operating this. Next one, this is your bank country. This is in India. I'll put bank country as India. Next one, currency. In which currency you are going to operate this account. I am operating this account in INR. I'll select INR. Account number. What is your bank account number? You pick whatever the account number, some random numbers I am giving. You need to ensure the correct account number. Now all this information will be provided to us by our client. Exactly, it's a data entry when you're creating a house bank, because you cannot decide any bank of your choice. You cannot decide bank key, account number, currency description on our choice. Everything will be provided to us by the client in an Excel sheet. While creating this, go to Excel sheet, Control C, Control V here, copy paste here. Since we are creating for our practice purpose, we are updating the information according to our scenario. Next one, bank key. This is important. What we created was HDFC double 28865. This is what we have created. Select the respective bank key and press enter.
Sir, please give account number last 3 digits, sir, 256.
Yeah, correct. So I'll put 256 so that it is identical. That is the reason why we are using 256. And at the last also I am using 256. And next one, if you look at the current account status, this is inactive. Currently the account status is inactive. We need to fill out all the information. At the end, we need to activate the account. After this, come down. Account opening date and all, when you have opened this bank account, this is all the information related to bank. Now most of this information is relevant for the treasury module. Most of the information is related to treasury. For us as a functional FICO consultant, this is what is required. The remaining points, the remaining options are used for different functionalities in TRM module, whatever you do with banking. For the different setup, we will be using different options, because if you are using cash accounting concept there, certain fields will have to be updated in the house bank account also. Now, after giving the header information, if you go to general data, bank relationship, if you see, it's not going to next tab, it's coming as a scroll down. It's a single page. Wherever you click, that segment is getting appeared. After header segment, you need to update bank account connectivity. In short, house bank account connectivity. We have already created a house bank. Now you are connecting your bank account with the house bank. For which, go to house bank account connectivity. On this section, you have an option called create here. Click on create here. If you click on create, it is giving category. This is your house bank account. This is always a standard. Next one, company code valid from house bank. This information is coming automatically based on the bank key that we have given. Next one, house bank account. House bank account is normally the continuation. HDFC, I'll put HDFC1. In HDFC, this is my first account. If you have second account in HDFC, you will be creating HDFC2, 3 likewise. But make sure you freeze any one logic. In the similar way, you need to create the house bank account ID for all the banks, for all the company codes. After giving this, if you scroll down a little, you have an option called GL account number. You have an option called GL account number. Down below, it is giving GL account is required for posting bank statement. So in short, as we already discussed, the purpose of house bank is to make sure your BRS is properly completed, your BRS is properly executed in system. Now, whenever you create house bank, whenever you create account ID, it is standard in any of the system to assign main bank GL account. It is standard in any of the system to assign bank main account. We know bank main GL account is always ending with 0. Bank GL account is always ending with 0. Copy this main GL account, Control C. Come to this screen, input the GL account here, press enter. Okay. Now, if you see on the top, bank reconciliation account, it is telling us no. It is telling bank reconciliation account no, because this GL account is balance sheet account. Because this GL account is balance sheet account. If this GL account would have been cash account, if this GL account is a cash account, let me put this cash account. The moment I put cash account here, I am getting a subtype. If I open this subtype, you are able to see bank reconciliation account. Main GL account is always bank reconciliation account. Ending with 129 is always a sub account. Okay. If we have created this GL account like a cash account, here system will tell you bank reconciliation yes. Okay, currently we are not adopting that option. When we are adopting that option, that time I'll explain this once again. It will show why yes and why, from where it is coming, we will understand. After giving this, no other information is relevant. If you wanted to update any information, these are all notes only. Notes in the sense the identification for the reporting requirement. Nothing is relevant. Straight away you can save. After giving GL account assignment, click on apply. When you click on apply, you have an option called save as inactive. Straight away you cannot activate it. Before you activate the account, you have to review the account. In order to review the account, first you need to save the account as inactive mode. Save as inactive. Why you have to save as inactive is you have a concept called workflow. You have a concept called workflow. According to workflow, whenever a bank account is created, it will undergo one level for the approval. The authorized person will review the information. They will be activating it. This is all part of your BCM, bank account management, bank communication management, for which you have a dedicated TRM consultant or dedicated FSCM consultant, treasury risk management or financial supply chain management consultants will be there to handle this. Now, after giving this information, we just need to review it. What information is updated? Once everything is properly updated, straight away you can come on the top, you find an icon called activate. Click on activate. If you click on activate, you get a message. This is created. Now, once the house bank account ID is created, just minimize this. Go back to house bank. Now, here is your house bank screen. Before we opened this, when we opened this, before creation of our account ID, there was nothing inside bank account. It is showing a completely blank screen. Now, let me reopen this. FI12. If I reopen this, I will select our company code 9PBI. Open this. Double click on house bank. Currently we have only one house bank. If there are multiple house bank, it will give a list. Since it is only one, directly it is giving the information about the house bank. To see the accounts in it, double click on bank accounts. Read access only, because this can be modified only on the Fiori application, not on the GUI. Enter. If I double click on it, you are able to see all the information. This account number, this currency INR, all this information, GL account and all is updated on the Fiori screen. Especially on the house bank account connectivity, this is where you have given here house bank, company code, account ID. Same information you can see it here on the GUI. House bank, company code, account ID, description is updated here. This is how you will be creating a house bank in SAP S4HANA system from 2020 onwards. It is the same approach. Now, once your house bank is created, next thing that we need to do is we need to assign the house bank and account ID in bank GLs. Let me go to bank GL master data. In the bank GL, select the main account, go to create bank interest. You have an option called house bank. Open the drop down. Select this GL account is related to which bank account, and this is related to which account ID. Okay, this is the account ID. Let me select the account ID. Enter. You reconnect to the server. List refresh. It's working a little slower. Okay, let me save this. Continue. Okay, in GL account, we are able to assign house bank account ID. Similarly for the other account. Outgoing account. Once you understand the concept, it is a simple, straightforward to create next house bank account ID onwards. It will not take more than 10-15 minutes time. But the point is we need to understand how you will get the data, how you are going to create, what naming convention you are using. All these points, once you are clear, straight away you can create house bank account ID. But for your first house bank, for your first account ID, do not just like that create it. Take one example, list out everything, only then you understand, create the second house bank onwards the way you want. But make sure first house bank is strictly created according to how you will be creating when you're in any project. Here also I'll put house bank account ID. I'll click on save. Now our bank GL account is now complete because you created GL account, you created a bank master, house bank is created, account ID is created, house bank account ID is mapped in bank GL data. Next, now let us try to record the payment. Before you process vendor payment, if your intention or if you are planning to process bank payment, these are all the prerequisites that you need to meet. Let me process the payment now. F-53 is to process normal vendor payment. I'll put payment. As we already discussed, house bank and account ID is mandatory in case if you are using, let's say if I select this, it is giving me house bank. If I select account ID, if I press enter, what system is doing? If I select house bank account ID, system is automatically bringing this GL account. From where system has brought this GL account? It has brought the GL account from your house bank configuration. It has brought the GL account from house bank configuration. If you see this, at this house bank account ID combination, on the manage this one, if I expand this, in the house bank account connectivity, we have updated this GL account here. This GL account is updated here for house bank account ID. Since we have given this house bank this account ID, system is picking this GL account automatically. Now, ideally, what we will be doing here is we will not be using this GL account. Because your main GL account is strictly updated only when you are performing BRS. Apart from BRS, at no other place you will be directly using a bank main account. You will strictly use bank sub account. So here you can change the bank sub account. If I put bank sub account, let me put value date also, enter. Amount, let me put 30,000. If I put this, system is accepting, which means whenever you are processing vendor outgoing payment, you need to ensure you will put house bank account ID, bank GL account. System will default from house bank account ID if your automatic payment program is not configured. If your automatic payment program is not configured, system is going to take it from your house bank configuration. If it is configured, you will be updating this GL account based on the account IDs. GL accounts will be mapped in APP setting, in short, automatic payment program setting, which we will be seeing in the upcoming sessions. We are talking about manual payment. In manual payment, everything is manual. You need to provide the GL account manually. But when it comes to automatic payment program, we have no control to provide the GL account. We need to ensure system will pick this GL account only. For that, how we will do, we'll see in the next sessions. Give your vendor account, process open item. You are able to find one open item is selected. Go to document, simulate. This is the entry view simulation. Go to document, general ledger simulation. Here you see that profit center is updated. This is because of passive document splitting. Come back one level, simulate one more time. Now click on post. Now your payment document is processed. If you go and display the document, this is your payment document. If I double click on my bank GL account, if I go to additional data, currently nothing here. We need to see if this GL account document of my bank, is it updating house bank account ID anywhere? Right? That in the reporting we will see. Next one, after processing the payment, we need to check the status of your vendor account. If I check the status of my vendor account, there should be no outstanding as this is paid. If I go to list, click on refresh, no items are selected, see long text. Now to see the processed, in short, to see the settled transactions or paid transaction, click on cleared item, click on execute. You will see like this. We understood you will be able to differentiate between what is the payment document number, which payment document is paid for which invoice number. You need to first identify the payment document 15 all zeros 1. If you filter on clearing the document with the payment, you can find out invoice plus payment both. This is how you will be able to find it out. Other option will be display your payment document. Other option is display payment document. From the payment document, if you go to environment, on the menu, if you go to environment, there is an option called payment usage. If you click on the payment usage, system will give you the breakup of this payment. What transactions are settled in this payment, system is going to provide you a breakup like this. This is how you can check this. In short, this is about your house bank configuration, payment posting for a vendor with the bank GL account. Next one that we need to understand is tables that will store your house bank. Now we are creating the house bank, but what is the table that will be used for house bank storing? So here let me put FI12, in short FI12 underscore H bank. We are using two transaction codes, and next one, the tables. Tables related to house bank. We know to check the tables, SE16N is the transaction code. Let me go to SE16N. To see the house bank, table will be T012. If I put only T012, this is only for the house bank. T012 is only for the house bank. If I put our company code 9PBI and if I click on execute, it is giving only one record now because we created only one HDFC bank. T012 T012 only for house banks. Next one, we also had account ID in our house bank. For that account ID come back, table is T012K. If you put T012K table, this is your house bank account. I'll copy house bank account. I'll put our company code 9PBI. If I click on execute, T012K will give you company code, house bank, account ID, bank account number, account currency, GL account, plus the account description, whatever we have given. So the next table will be T012K. This is your house bank account. These are the two tables that you have to remember. In short, this is all about your house bank creation. Here we took a little more time to create the house bank because we understood the different points connecting your bank GL account, vendor account, invoice, everything. But next one, whenever you create the house bank, make sure all these points are noted in your mind and you will understand on what basis you are creating a house bank, what information you require, what parameters you are going to consider. Straight away, hardly 10 to 15 minutes is sufficient to create a house bank, especially in our test environment, in our practice environment. Right? So this is what you have to do it. Make sure you create a house bank, one account ID, GL master, create one vendor account, create an invoice, process the payment with your house bank. Clear it? Anjaneyulu?
Sir, suppose we have different, in HDFC we have three accounts, sir. In that case, we will create only one house bank and we will create three house bank accounts, right?
Correct.
In that place,
So
how many?
that is identified based on this. If you have three accounts, you need to check whether three accounts are from the same HDFC bank, because within HDFC, the moment your branch is changing, your code is changing, bank key.
Yes.
So if it is a new bank key, no other go, you need to create another this one. You can also create multiple house banks with the same bank key, but that is not recommended. Either ways, there are two ways. When we are doing automatic payment program, there I'll explain this point, because that is where this point will come into picture.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Ajay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, FI12 and FI12 underscore H bank, both the T code functionality are the same or different, sir? T codes
Same only.
according to functionality?
FI12 will generate a customizing request, and FI12 is the old
Okay.
transaction code.
Okay.
Okay. And
Uh,
FI12 underscore H bank will generate a workbench request, and it will display only the house bank. You cannot see account ID from H bank T code. But otherwise, there is no difference. You can either use that or this. Anything can be used.
Okay, anything can be used, no? Okay, sir.
Yeah.
And sir, at the time of payment, F-53, here we found the one field, that is house bank and house bank ID. So is it mandatory whenever we post any payment entity to fill up the house bank and house bank ID? Means according along with
If
bank account GL? Huh.
it is mandatory if you are using a cash accounting. If not, not mandatory.
Okay, if we select the cash account type, means GL balance sheet type cash account, right, sir? You
Correct,
mean to say?
correct. Yes. There, if you select
Okay.
cash account,
Uh,
without that, you cannot put the payment.
Acha, acha. That is mandatory field. Okay.
Yes.
And sir, another point is, sir, at the time of process open item, here the three or four tab is there. That is charge of difference, cash account display. What is the function of that option, sir, in process open
All
item?
those we will see as part of our upcoming scenarios. Now we did only the plain payment. So I'll show
Plain
different
payment.
ways of
Acha.
payment transactions. Yes, we'll check all the possible payment transactions which a company will do
Okay.
in the regular business process.
Okay. Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Purushottam.
Hello, Ajay sir, where we define the length of account number, bank account number?
This is a standard in the SAP configuration will be there. These are basically the standard SAP settings at country level.
Okay.
Okay, so there you will have the settings. If you go
Can
to
you?
SPRO,
It's different for different country.
yeah, but these are maintained by standard SAP only. We don't need to make any change unless it is required.
Okay.
Cross application components, there will be somewhere here. Master data. Here there will be a setting where you will find countries or something OY01. Yeah, if you go to OY01, if you select any country, let's say I'll take India. Address not here.
OY 17.
17. Field checks. Yeah, here it is, correct. OY17. Here you need to maintain. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
But these are not supposed to be changed because in standard SAP system, these are all maintained as per ISO standards.
Okay.
Okay, so normally there will be no need, no requirement where you have to go and update or increase the length of this.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Arya,
Ajay, can you mention the house bank related all tables, please? Or am I
only two
misnoticed?
tables we will be using. Only these two tables you will be using for house bank.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so for bank
Yes.
master, you will be using BNKA. This is for your bank master. Let me verify bank master C16 and BNKA. Yeah, BNKA for bank master. Only these three tables we will be using.
Okay, thank you, Ajay.
Yeah, Ramesh.
Sir, you said NWBC file we will not use in S4 HANA, you are telling. So, in replacement of NWB, what we will use?
Those are replaced in your Fiori application only.
So, the file like to extract any the bank details and company code via NWBC file we will extract right bank details, house banks, some other thing. So, how in S4 HANA which one we need to use to extract?
You mean the house bank details and all?
Yes, house bank, bank account,
The
accounting
same,
account ID.
all this, the same thing. Manage bank account.
So we will get here in this instead of
Yeah,
NWBC in Esperanto.
correct. That is replaced here. That is valid until 1909 version only.
1909. Okay.
From 2020, 21, 22, that is removed. That is replaced by your manage house bank Fiori application.
So like MYD and LTMC in the same way, right?
Yeah, correct. Similar. You're right.
Okay. And one more thing, we have used here main bank account for payment. So we should use like if I'm not wrong, we should use outgoing payment, right? For two
I
individual
used
two.
outgoing only. We used outgoing only, not main account.
I think I have missed it.
No, the moment we put house bank account ID there, system will bring main account because at that combination we assigned main bank account, correct?
Yes.
Then I changed it manually from main to outgoing.
Manually. Okay. So, but
Okay.
we can directly, if you're giving our house bank ID, it should come outgoing. It will not come in that way. In
No, that is for the automatic payment program. When we are working on
for
APP, there I'll show how it will come. For manual
FWI.
payment, we have to pass the GL account manually only. In manual payment, we cannot expect system to bring it. System will bring that GL account in payment with printout. There is another T code called F-58. These things we will do in all our upcoming sessions.
Okay,
Here you have to put house bank account ID payment method. Based on this, the system will pick.
automatically it will.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Suresh,
Yeah, hi Ajay. I have one doubt. Already we have used one HDFC bank. That bank same we can use for another company code.
another company code, you will be creating another house bank, but the bank key will be the same.
but we need to define the GL accounts create, yes, main
Yeah,
bank.
different GL account, correct. Normally, whenever you're creating, as I said, we will be freezing the naming convention.
Okay.
Okay, so based on the naming convention, it will not duplicate. Ideally, it should not duplicate. So whenever we create the KDS document, we will create a naming convention in such a way that no code is duplicated in two company codes. If it is duplicating, it will create a confusion. Agree?
Yes.
So we will ensure that these confusions will not happen. Accordingly, the master data is set up. The naming convention is decided.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sandeep?
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah. Yes, you are audible.
Sir, first of all, bank key would be common. For suppose there are two company codes are there. Two companies are using the, for suppose HDFC Bank is there. Then, as you discussed, two house bank has to be created. Even if, because there are two house banks has to be created, even if it is the same bank. But bank key would be one, house bank will be two. Is it right, sir?
Correct. Yes. Because bank key is assigned inside the house bank. You are just assigning it.
Okay.
Okay, so you can
So
create
it's a
two house
client
banks.
level.
Correct. You can create two different house banks with the same bank key. That is possible. That is how we do even in real time.
Oh, bank is client level, house bank is at company code level.
Correct.
Sir, one more thing. Whenever, not the bank payment, whenever cash payment happens, for that, as we discussed that cash journal has
Yeah,
to be
yeah. I'll
used. So there is a, I'm sorry, sir.
go ahead. Go ahead.
There is a limit to the cash transaction, whatever we route through cash journal, for that a limit. So, for suppose, let's
No, no,
assume
the
in the
cash
scenario,
used only
usually,
for two purposes. Used for
okay.
bank GL accounts. Your cash purpose.
Sir, I'm not able to hear your voice.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Cash concept will be used for bank GL accounts plus cash GL account. Now we are not using for bank GL account because for bank we are assuming that we will be proceeding with balance sheet category. Correct?
Okay.
On the other side, you can use the cash for cash journal. You have another concept called cash journal, which I'll show in the tomorrow's session. For cash journal also, there are two ways. Either you can create cash GL account as balance sheet or you can create as cash. But the cash concept can be understood only when we are clear with the bank, the traditional method called balance sheet account.
Okay.
That we will be doing in our upcoming sessions practically.
Okay. Sir, whenever, for suppose, let's assume a vendor is there. He is actually, whatever payment that has to be happen. Let's suppose there is an open item of 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs. For this kind of huge payment, let's assume the vendor wants only in cash. So in that case, where we are going to record, whether it is from bank only or cash
No,
journal, I don't
any
think it will
cash
happen
cash
because
cannot
in
be
cash journal we are going to
processed
specify.
for cash payments are always restricted. You cannot go beyond a limit for cash account. This is common in every company.
Yeah.
Beyond a limit, it's a statutory requirement, legal requirement in every organization as per the central bank of that particular country.
Okay.
Beyond a limit, cash payment is not allowed, strictly not allowed. So no way that you get that requirement. Straight away ruled out. In
Okay.
fact,
But
you will
any
be
cash
writing
transaction that's
validations
happened or
to restrict cash payments.
okay, the amount that is going to credit to the account, cash account.
Correct, correct, correct. Okay.
Okay, so okay, any kind of cash transaction that happens that has to be routed through cash journal only. That
Cash
we are
channel
going
only,
to
correct.
discuss.
Yes, that will be tomorrow's topic.
Okay, sir,
Yeah.
one more
Arya,
small doubt. So there
let
won't
let me
be
take
any
other
concept of.
questions.
Can you,
Yeah,
Ajay,
sure,
go
sure.
on the Excel sheet, please?
Okay.
Yes, I'm not able to see that. Oh, yeah. So you said like Ajay, maybe I heard wrong. House bank creation, you said like on the client level, is that right?
How bank master is at client level.
Bank master at client level. L- And bank account, you creating as a master data, because you asked this question on the interview, and I'm also confused in that.
Yes.
Bank account is
Bank,
creating as a master data, is that right?
correct.
Because you're
Bank
creating main
account
bank.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Nagvina,
Hello, Ajay. Just now you said that when we are creating the bank account, there were the account type which shows in the different in the drop down so many options. Do we use that in any real time scenario like
very
other
rare.
account?
That cash is very rare, very rare.
Okay.
Majoritarily, we will be still using balance sheet account only because that's a new functionality and not completely familiar with all the clients and all. So they will be comfortable with the traditional method only. But in case if somebody wants to migrate or use the new way of the bank accounting by way of cash accounting, that they can use it. There the point is you can reduce the GL account.
Okay.
Now we are talking about for every bank we are allotting 10 accounts, right?
Yeah.
So if you are using cash accounting, irrespective of number of banks that you are having, you will be having only, if you are freezing 10 GL account, let's say 0 to 9. Now this
Mm-hmm.
0 to 9 is repeating for every bank that you are adding.
Yeah.
If you are using a cash accounting concept, irrespective of the number of banks, 0 to 9 will remain only one set, which means one main bank account for multiple banks, one sub account for multiple banks. The segregation happens based on the house bank account ID.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, that we will see practically. Once we complete BRS, we will create one more set and then I'll show complete process from bank GL creation until BRS using the this cash concept.
And one more thing is that when we go in the Fiori screen, there was account type 01 we used for creating, right?
Yeah,
So in the drop down, there are so many like loan amount and this like that.
yeah.
So
The
do we?
others will be used for treasury purpose. Those are created by the treasury consultants.
Okay, yeah,
Like you have fixed deposits, derivatives, mutual funds and all, right? Borrowings and all, letter of
mm-hmm.
credits, LCs and all. For that purpose, the different accounts are created, then they will be creating it. But as a functional FICO consultant, we will be using only current account.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Ajay, you said like
Jyot,
bank master creation is on the client level, but it's a country specific. So how can you use bank master creation on the
when
client
we
level?
say client level, it
Huh?
is representing that common for multiple company codes. In a country, if there are 2-3 company codes, so all these 2-3 company codes will use the same bank key.
But if you say think about like in US, we don't have HDFC. So even though you create on the client level, it is how can you use that one
But
because
this
it's
is
not.
but this is of BMW only, right? BMW is operating in India and US. So it's like irrespective of the country, if you're talking about a particular bank, let's say if I talk about HDFC Bank, I am identifying HDFC Bank based on the bank country bank key, correct?
Yes.
This cannot be created twice. It has to be a single record. So if I'm creating at company code level, I will be ending up creating so many bank keys.
Yes.
So that is why this is at client level, where while creating this bank master, there is nothing apart from country bank key, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jyoti Prakash.
Sir, if we have different bank accounts in different bank, then we have to create multiple house banks, or how sir it will done?
House bank is always based on your bank key, first condition. Okay.
Like if a company has bank account in ICICI, SDFC, SBI, and many other banks, then different house banks will be created. Or
Correct. Different house banks, you're right.
so this process, the whatever steps you have given, it will be
It
continuing
will be
for.
repeated. Correct. For every new bank that you're adding, the 7 steps you're going to repeat. For each bank, separate set.
Okay. Then while making payment, if like we have to choose the bank from where we have to make the payment.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, in the upcoming payment transactions, we will see all that. I'll add additional bank accounts, then I'll show you everything practically. Like if we have multiple bank accounts, how user will understand if something is going wrong, how do we do it? How do you transfer money from your one bank to another bank? There are different scenarios in it which we will practically understand.
But GL accounts will be company specific, right? So cash and bank GL
Yeah,
accounts will be company specific, one to one.
company specific, one to one, correct.
Okay, sir. Okay, fine, sir. Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Swarna,
Hello, Ajay. Can you go to FI12?
one sec.
So in FI12, we have the option to create bank key. Why can't we create in FI12 only instead of FI1, FI01? Let me.
This is because, let's say, I'll show you here. If I go here, this is where you mean to say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally, what will happen if you are working only with one company code? As you said, you can do from here itself. But majoritarily, we will be having multiple company codes, correct?
But if I use only one company code, means I can create from here only, right?
You can create from here, but this is not the right approach. Even if somebody is asking you how do you create, you should strictly tell the same sequence.
First by bank master, we need.
First by bank master. In the similar sequence, you need to explain to anybody anywhere.
Okay.
While creating, you can create it anyways, because nobody will see how you created. Everybody will see whether it is created properly or not. Output is only what the others will verify when you're in any project. But when we are explaining, we need to ensure the steps that you are explaining are in the proper sequence.
Okay.
Okay. But while doing the configuration, it's up to you, it's up to me how you're comfortable. You can create in the similar way. End of the day, I need to make sure house bank and account ID is available in the system. Correct?
Mm.
Yeah.
So bank key will be provided by the client only?
Client only. The complete information will be provided by client. What we do here is only data entry. Control C in your format, the template, whatever you have given, client will update it. Control C, go to SAP, Control V.
Okay.
Okay, because we do not know what is the bank account information, right? So they will provide. But while practicing, our approach will be different. But when you are doing the same thing in a project, the approach is different. Like we should have that clarity.
Okay. So
Clear?
bank master creation is the cutover activity?
Yes, cutover activity. Before you
And
do now,
creating house bank is also a cutover activity?
no. See, normally what will happen, assuming that here you can see the bank master, house bank you can see here. When we created the house bank, we got a TR number.
Yeah.
Now, assuming that you moved this house bank to production system. In production system will only transfer company code, HDFC, country, bank key. If you click on address, in production system, this will be blank. Because in production, this bank master is not created, right? You need to create in FI01. Only then address you can see it in the house bank. Otherwise, it will not come. because it is not coming from here. You're being redirected from here to FI01 only.
Hmm.
Got it? Unless and until you create bank master in production system, you cannot see the bank address here. When you print any bank letters and all, everything will be printed without address.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's why we need to create from FI01.
FI01, correct. So that's why we have to follow the sequence so that we will not face any problem anywhere.
Oh,
Otherwise, we will not understand. We always think that, no, I created, but why it is not displaying? But it will
yeah.
not strike at that point of time that this is separate, right?
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, Ajay.
Yeah. All right. All
So
right,
how
fine
is
then.
the sequence? Hello.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So first we'll be creating the master data, then we'll be moving our TR. It's
Correct.
okay.
Master data can be created later on also. It will straight away update it. Either ways you can create. Before or after does not make any difference.
Okay.
Like, you mean to say bank master, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
So you can create before moving the TR or after the moving the TR, but make sure these two are in place before you post the transaction. Before you hand over to the client, make sure these two are available in the system.
Okay.
Okay.
So when you say that we can have one account ID with different house banks. So here basically we are extending our company codes with the against the account IDs.
No. One
Correct, sir?
account ID, not one account ID. One bank key, bank master, bank key,
Bank key,
not
sir.
account
Bank
ID.
key, sir. Bank key. Yeah, bank key.
Yeah.
So basically extending our company code with the bank key for one house bank.
No, not like that. Let's say you have 3-4 company codes within the same country, either in India or in US, which is quite common for most of the companies.
Yes.
You got my point, right? So let's say if you take Reliance, if you take Tata, they are operating in India with multiple legal entities. Everything is in India only, but different company codes.
Yeah.
That point is clear first.
Yes.
If it is the case, now Tata Capital, Tata Steel, TCS, whatsoever, all these companies will be operating account in HDFC Bank. Possible or not?
Yes, possible.
Now everybody will not create bank master separately. This is common for all the company codes. So when you are creating house bank in your account, in your company code, you have to use the same bank key. When I am creating house bank in my company code, I will be using the same account key, which means same bank key.
Okay.
So that there is no inconsistency or no incorrect payment processing and all. Because this is one of the sensitive master, right? If you select wrong information, if I put wrong IFSC code, will my payment get processed properly or it will go wrong?
No, it will go wrong.
It will go wrong. But whether you are operating or I am operating, if both of our account is in the same bank, you have to use the same account key. I also have to use the same account key. In short, your IFSC code, bank key. That will be common. For one bank key only. Though you can create multiple, but system will not allow. You cannot duplicate it, right? It is something which is generated by bank, not that we will be creating on our own. Agree?
Yes. Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. All right, fine then. Let me stop the recording.